those of you. So here's a question. Don't give a better presentation on the plane today. I'm thinking about what I should have said. But what I'm talking about here is a whole culture shift. And we're never going to have the impact in the culture that we want to have, I think, for the right reasons, until there's a culture shift inside the church. And that's why I'm telling you so. You already know what I'm telling you. But I'm trying to give you a way to talk about it because it is a key to shift the culture. And you have to do three things. You have to have a language to describe what it is that you're trying to do. You see, your limbic system doesn't have a capacity for words. Your emotional center, it takes the rest of your brain to give words to it. We get something in our gut, but if we can't give a word to it, people can't embrace it. And by the way, we're watching the power of that right now in our country. Make America Great Again is an idea. It doesn't matter that he doesn't know how. Only politicians are misunderstanding this. And I'm not making a commercial for Trump. I'm terrified. I'm a political science major. This is a scary thing that's happened, since Watergate. And so, which changed all the rules. But you see, people don't care. It's the idea that grips them in their limbic system. And of course, politicians keep coming out with more plans, and no one expects the politicians. We all know that's a joke. They're not going to do their plans anyway. I mean, it's like nobody's got. You guys got no clothes on. You're naked. We don't. But so people rally around now. The kingdom is that kind of guttural proof. There's something better than what I'm experiencing. Well, we've got to be able to talk about it. And that's why I talk about life. I'll give you another. Let me just show you how this impacts everything. My system, my world, or my way of thinking. 2 weeks from now, no, next week, great Lord, it doesn't matter. I'm with the crop leaders, Salvation Army from all over the country. The crop centers, do you have one of those here in Lansing? I don't think you do. Dayton, maybe the closest. But Ray Kroc started McDonald's. His widow left the Salvation Army a bunch of money. In fact, it was $2 billion. It took him 2 years to count. And so they put them into these crop centers, and they realized that there's a little mission drift because we built all these fantastic, Taj Mahals in the middle of these impoverished areas. But we're not having the spiritual conversations to go along with all of these ramped up services. In fact, I was with the Salvation Army people just 2 weeks ago in Texas, the officers, and I was telling them, come out of the closet. It's okay to be a Jesus follower. You can't just be a social agency. You want to lose the impact and the power of what it is that you offer. Because it's about the life that Jesus has for you. I mean, it's just that simple. Now, people will self-select in or out, but again, I didn't have a way to help people in that conversation if I didn't sell them church first growing up. I was saying, because my conversation always went to church. People out on the street don't want it. They're done with you when you bring up, you need to come to church Sunday. We got this great worship. We're in the middle of the series, 6-part series, or whatever. They're done with it. But I can tell you that starting with people's hopes, I ask people, what do you hope for? Every ounce of hope is an indication of the kingdom. It's a vestige of the kingdom. Because we all know in our gut, even if we can't give a word to it, that there's something better than what we're experiencing. And so, but then if you go, well, what's keeping you from having that, from realizing your hope? Now you're into the stuff that's broken. And you can talk about that. In fact, one of the scenarios I'm going to give those Salvation Army Corps people is I want you to devise a narrative about a gospel narrative that doesn't use words like lost, sin, reaching. Now, I'm just trying to, if you're going to have conversation with our culture, we're going to have a sense enough to have a conversation that doesn't put people off, but it invites them in. Now I'm going to give another group the assignment. I want you to come from the biblical narrative, because guess what? There's an enormous story in the Bible. In the Old Testament. What's the biggest story in the Old Testament? Biggest story. The Exodus. People were in bondage. They come out of that and they're delivered home. We can't understand that story. When people are saved, then you say this time, they're saved from something. And they're saved through something. The river. And the Exodus experience, that whole. But they're also saved in something. Now, by the way,